Now, one thing you need to really keep in mind is that there is a difference between equals and equals equals. Equals is used to assign a value to a variable. So in this case, x equals 5, so you have assigned the value of 5 to x. Word equals hello, so you have assigned the string hello to the variable word. On the other hand, equals equals is used to compare two values. So x equals y. Is x equal to, in doing this, you're essentially asking the question, is x equal to y? So coming back to this example over here. So let's say I say instead of x equals y, I say x equals y. Now, up until this point, x is equal to 5 and y is equal to 6. So if you put x equals y, you'll actually get the statement that this is false because they are not in fact equal to each other. However, if instead you put x equals y, what you have actually done is that x's value will change. So x, what Python will do is it will look for y. It'll say, okay, y is equal to 6. Then it will take that value, whatever value is stored in y, and it will assign that value to x. So x's value will actually change from 5 to 6. So instead of comparing whether x and y are the same, you've actually changed the value of x and turned it to 6. And that is not at all what we are trying to accomplish over here. So one thing to also keep in mind is with now the other one, actually before we get into that, is another one is not equals, not equal to. So again, let's go with the same example, x equals to 5, y equals to 6. In this case, if I put x not equal y, and again, it has to be in this exact order, it must be exclamation mark first and then equals. Is this a true or false statement? This is a true statement. Why? Because x is equal to 5, y is equal to 6. They are not the same, so this is true. However, if I say x equals 5 and y equals 5, then indeed, if I put x not equal to y, in this case, it'll actually be false. Why? Because x is equal to 5, y is equal to 5. They are equal. So are they not equal to each other? No, they are not. They are actually not. They are equal to each other. And so this statement is false. So literally think of this as the opposite of equals equals. So whatever, if you were to replace this with x equals y, if I were to replace this with x equals y, this would be false, right? So then what we say so therefore, when it's x not equal to y, if not equal to y, then it would be true. So think of it as the opposite of equals equals. So those cover essentially the comparison operators. Now, everything that we've covered above with comparison operators you can compare, number one, two variables, as we've done already, as we've done above. As we've done above. So I've compared x and y, x equals y, x not equal to y, x less than y, x less than or equal to y. So you can do that. Or you can compare a variable, which will be the more common use case in this class, with an actual value. For example, let's say x equals to 5. We want to check is x less than 6. This statement is false because x is 5 and I want to check if x less than 5. This statement is also false. Why? Because it's not less than 5. It is equal to 5. 5 is 5 less than 5? No. That is incorrect. So now if I put x less than or equal to 5, this is true because yes. Does x equal to 5? That is also true. Is x not equal to 5? That is false. And so on and so forth. I can also do this with strings. I say word equals hello, I can check, for example, does word equal hello? This will be true. Now, if I put word equals hello with the first h lowercase, this will be false. Because it has to be, the cases have to match exactly. Now, if I put word not equal to hello, we look at equals. In this case, it's true. So the not equals version will be the opposite, false. And so on and so forth. Now, obviously you can't use less than or less than equals with strings, because obviously they're strings, right? Because there's no less than or equal to. That has to do with numbers. All right, so that concludes what we have to talk about when it comes to comparison operators. Now, why do we use comparison operators? Comparison operators are used to form what we call conditions. What we call conditions in Python. Okay, what does that mean? This is used to essentially create, or let's just say create code that executes based on if a condition is met. All right. So let's say, for example, a very simple example of a condition is actually your entire life is based on conditions. Police officer pulls you over, asks you for your license. If you're above if you have a G2, or if you have a G2, you are allowed to drive by yourself, and so the officer will not cause you any issues if you are by yourself. However, if you don't, otherwise, if you have a G1 or G1 or not even any license and you're alone, then you will obviously get in severe trouble. So the idea being is that life is based on conditions. If this thing happens, you take one course of action. If not, then you take a different course of action. This is called conditional execution. The idea that you execute code based on conditions is performed in Python. Using if statements. So how does this work? So the way that if statements work, in their very simple thing, is I used to say if, I'm just going to put condition for now, if condition, perform code 1, code 2, code 3. I'm just putting random lines. Okay? Now, a couple of things to notice. Number one, this condition must be true for the block, which we'll explain in a second. This is very important, for the block to be executed. Secondly, all of the code within the block is, my bad, this is just being stupid. And the block is to be indented. Now in the next lesson, inshallah, we'll go more in depth into the if condition. We're going to talk about if, elif, and else, and then we'll continue from there.